My name is Ian Franks. I'm the leader of the Lean Agile Centre of Excellence here at JATO Dynamics in Uxbridge, West London. My role began in JATO as the release train engineer, and we launched our first train, and as that train's grown, we've looked to start expanding our scaled Agile principles and practice beyond just the software development organisation, and also to help with the software development organisation, we've got this Lean Agile Centre of Excellence, so we're providing coaching and training across the organisation.
What's the biggest challenge you see in PI planning?
For me, one of the biggest challenges as a release train engineer working with a distributed planning event is visibility. When you have a co-located event, that view of progress and emerging dependencies and emerging risks is immediately visible with a simple stroll around the room. When you have a distributed planning event, as many companies are forced to do nowadays, that visibility is key to understanding what's happening, how things are progressing, and being able to make decisions on the fly and keep the event moving. The planning app provides that information to us, whether the teams are physically in different countries or even just in different rooms in the same building. It means we have a consistent view. We can see how each of the teams are progressing. We see the emerging risks as they're growing, and we see the complexity of the dependencies as the program board begins to populate. So the tool provides for me those three main pieces. It gives me the chance, it provides transparency, gives me the chance to inspect, and obviously as a train to adapt accordingly.
How does the PI planning app support the RTE?
So thinking about using the tool for preparation for a PI planning event, at first you might think this is some additional work, I've got to do some setup and some configuration, but actually it still ends up being a real time saver. The key there for us really is the integration with our ALM tools. It means that we can set up a consistent look and feel for the teams, even down to the naming conventions of all the iterations that we're going to have in the PI that's coming up. So by using the tool to create those work areas for the teams, you're saving some time for the teams on the first day. They have a digital representation of their work area. Additionally, we've got this consistent back end in Jira, in our case, where all of the iterations are named the same across all of the teams, which helps us for reporting and pulling data as we progress through the PI. It also gives the teams a great advantage that if there are team-driven stories, such as refactoring and that kind of work that they've already started thinking about or already sitting in their backlog in the ALM, they can put those into the sprints prior to the PI planning event. When we come to start the planning event, they've already got those available to them, so it's easy for them to move around and plan in that balance between new work and refactoring and keeping the lights on and not building up technical debt. So actually there's a tremendous saving for us in that time. So the setup work, it makes us think about the work areas and the naming and things beforehand, but it actually accelerates the process of the planning event, and obviously coming out of the back of the planning event, we've already got our data and our information in the system.
What do you like the most about the PI planning app?
Besides the real-time synchronization between the ALM tool and the planning app, one of the things that is my favorite is the fact that the planning app itself is purely a digital representation of what you would do if you had paper and post-its. So for me, the thing I really like about the tool is its simplicity of user interface, the fact that if anybody has been on a scaled agile training or to a safe training and you've had a PI simulation, this is going to look familiar. This is the same thing that you would do with large flip chart sheets and post-its. The same ability to just move the stuff around as you're planning the event makes it very familiar to the guys on the train. That's also really important for us as well, because this is something that we use 2 or 3 days every 3 months or so. We don't want to be losing large chunks of our IP sprint to be retraining everybody on the art to how to use the tool and what the tool looks like and how it works and what this means in this format and how it's represented. It's quite clear from that point of view. So that really is one of our favourite points. And so for me personally, when we were looking for something to help us using distributed planning and how we were going to cope with it and how we were going to get that visibility, it was really that ease of use and that familiarity that made the PI planning app the tool that we recommended and eventually went forward with.